Welcome to the 100 delicious and nutritious subs. Thank you, QnA special. I am Body Slam and Jam. I just want to thank everyone again for pushing me to 100 subs, and I also want to thank everybody for the fantastic questions that they submitted. So let's go ahead and get on to it. I got my notes right in front of me. So here we go. The first question is from Joe Womsky. He asks, have you ever considered having a co-commentator and for my universe mode? And indeed I have. There have been a couple times where I've been pretty close to getting somebody else to commentate with me, but it hasn't happened yet. I think it will happen. My ultimate goal is to be able to have a 4-man booth. I think that would be epic, and yeah, I'm sure it'll happen sometime soon. Okay, next question. How many wrestlers are there? And I legitimately tried to look this up. I typed it into the Google machine. Couldn't find anything, obviously. So, but I did find a cool article about how to become a wrestler in just 6 steps. So I'm definitely going to have to check that out. Next question. How do I feel about Hulk Hogan's midget wrestling? Well, yeah, Hulk Hogan's midget wrestling. I don't know that it exists anymore, but it was called Micro Championship Wrestling. Yeah, so, you know, the more wrestling companies, the better. The more work for everybody. So that's great. And I'm pretty sure they did shows in strip clubs. So that's also very cool. All right, next question. What is my favorite shape? Well, obviously it's a squared circle. That's an easy question. Whatever happened to the double countout? That's a good question. I don't know what happened to the double countout. I guess Vince doesn't think it's that entertaining, which I don't blame him. It's not really particularly entertaining. But that made me think of the time limit draw. The time limit draw, you know, like the 1-hour time limit draws that Ric Flair used to have back in the day. I'm pretty sure no one would sit through a 1-hour time limit draw these days. If you pretty pissed that was going on 3-hour Raw. Next question. What was the first wrestling game you ever played? The first game I ever played was WWF Mania. It came out in 1989. There were 6 wrestlers in this game, bro. 6 wrestlers. Do you believe that? Kids these days. Let's see. The ring had 4 sides, but one side didn't even have ropes. There were just 3 sides of the ring were covered in ropes. It doesn't make any sense. And there were these little icons that would bounce around the ring. They were like Thanksgiving turkeys or something, and you had to collect them to regain stamina. It was not a great game. Even as a kid, I didn't think it was a particularly great game. Okay, next up. Enigmatic Fantastic says, pitch a WrestleMania match for returning Brackus. Okay, for those of you that don't remember Brackus, I don't remember him that well, but I do remember him from the Brawl for All, which was a shoot boxing fight tournament on Raw, which he promptly lost in the first round, I'm pretty sure, but I'm sure he had some kind of debilitating illness. Yeah, so he's a huge looking bodybuilder type dude. There's another thing you should know about Brackus. There's a Twitter hashtag, Brackus Facts, that you should check out. It's pretty cool, and you should add to it. But I was thinking about that. Who would I match him up against? Would I match him up against Goldberg or Lesnar or Braun Strowman or The Undertaker at WrestleMania? But I don't think any of those matches are believable, that any of those men could beat Brackus one-on-one. So what I would do is I would have Brackus come back at Royal Rumble and eliminate all 30 participants. And that sets up Brackus versus the entire WWE at WrestleMania. And of course, Brackus destroys the world. Next question. What type of music are you into? I am far from a music aficionado, but I'll tell you what I'm into anyway. You asked. Hip-hop, emo, like girly emo, and joke music like Tenacious D and Flight of the Conchords, Lonely Island, those sorts of things. I did look at my Spotify playlist to check out my top 5 songs from 2016. I'm going to run through those real quick. Jump Off the Roof by Vince Staples, Rootless Tree by Damian Rice, Dracula's Wedding by Andre 3000, Queen of My Double Wide Trailer by Sammy Kershaw, and My Shot by Lin-Manuel Miranda. That's from the Hamilton musical. Okay, then Enigmatic Fantastic also asked, you are able to sign any 5 wrestlers in the world to your promotion. Who do you choose? I choose Chris Hero, who is Cassius Ohno. We are going to talk about him later as well. Cesaro, the Young Bucks, which the Young Bucks are. This is a question later in the show, but they are probably my favorite tag team in the world right now. They did this great. You can look it up on YouTube. They did this great thing where they super kicked like a 7-year-old kid and his dad in the ring. It's amazing. It's an epic video. And they have some cool merch out right now. Got some Killing the Business shirts. That probably doesn't mean anything to most of you, but I love it. I gotta buy me one of those. And then the last guy, the number 5 guy, the 5th guy, as you might say, Emil Satochi. He's a Dutch wrestler that's wrestled in the States a little bit. He is tremendous, let me tell you. Very entertaining. Great worker. Amazing moveset. He's got this corkscrew tombstone pile driver. It looks like he's, breaking a fool's neck. All right, next up is Mr. Brown Man, and he asks, "What year did you start watching wrestling?" This is hard for me, really, to know because I watched a lot of VHS. I rented a lot of VHS tapes as a kid, so I'm not sure what I watched while it was going on and what I watched after the fact. But I think it's somewhere around SummerSlam '89. Where I remember the promos with Zeus and the Macho King, Randy Savage, where they were standing behind that steel bar cage, and Sensational Sherry was standing in front of it, and she was just like rubbing down the bars with her hands, and Macho Man was doing his thing. It was great. But they had a match against Hulk Hogan and Beefcake at SummerSlam that year. I don't really remember the match, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's around the time I started watching wrestling. He asks, also, Mr. Brown Man, "How old are you?" Not creepy at all, he adds there. Yeah, not creepy at all. "I am 32 years old. Do you believe I'm a grandpa in YouTube? A complete grandpa. I'm older than anyone listening to this." Next question. "If you had the opportunity to go to any past wrestling event, which one would I go to?" I would go to Money in the Bank 2011. It was held at the Rosemont Horizon, I think it's called, in Rosemont, Illinois, right outside of Chicago. That's the one where Daniel Bryan won the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match, and CM Punk faced John Cena for the WWE Championship, and then he won the title and kissed McMahon and the WWE bye and walked through the crowd and left the building. It was so epic. The crowd was so hot, and then CM Punk came back 2 weeks later, just like completely ruined the whole gimmick. All right, on to the next question. It's from Rob the Yankee. He asks, "Who is your favorite tag team of all time and right now?" Okay, my favorite tag team of all time are the Kings of Wrestling, which consists of Chris Hero and Claudio Castagnoli, who are also known as Cassius Ohno and Cesaro. But they worked mainly the Independence, ROH, some Japan, I think. They got some ridiculous moves that they could pull off together. The helicopter crash is a really cool one. It's where Cesaro's doing the Cesaro swing, and Chris Hero does a drop kick to the guy's head in the middle of the Cesaro swing. The KRS-One is another really cool move. It's like some kind of weird power bomb thing. You'd have to look it up. And then they have amazing entrance music. It's just amazing. Hopefully, now that they're both in the WWE, they're both under the same umbrella. Hopefully, we'll get that tag team back, and so they can be, the spotlight can be shone on them on the big stage. As far as my favorite tag team right now, if we're talking WWE, it's American Alpha. I really love their back and forth. They're entertaining back and forth on NXT. Of course, they're great wrestlers. And Jason Jordan went to IU, which is my favorite school of higher learning. And but if we're talking in all of wrestling, my favorite tag team would be the Young Bucks. I mentioned them earlier. They're incredible. Rob the Yankee also asked, "Would I ever do a Universe Mode collaboration with another WWE YouTuber?" I believe that I would. Probably not for WWE 2K17, possibly for 2K18. But, you know, I'd have to work out a schedule with another live human being. That would be pretty rough. I have a hard time just working out a schedule with myself. Okay, on to the next question. It's from Iron Phoenix. He asks, who is your favorite artist? There are a couple ways I could have gone with this, but I went with Georges Seurat, right? I'm pretty sure I'm butchering that name. But his probably most famous painting is A Sunday Afternoon on the island of Le Grand Jeté. Oh yeah, I was reading that off a piece of paper. You can tell. Yeah, because I didn't know the name of the painting either. But it is a pointillism painting. I'm sure you've seen it. But it's in the Art Institute of Chicago. I've seen it in person. That's why it's my favorite painting, and that's why he's my favorite artist. Okay, on to the next question. What is your favorite sport? My favorite sport is basketball. I guess I can't say pro wrestling here, right? Yeah, so my favorite sport is basketball. Played a lot growing up as a kid. And I like college basketball in particular. Jay Amazing asks, if you could face any superstar in the ring in real life, past or present, who would it be and why? Okay, this leads to an interesting, at least for me, an interesting story where a young body slamming Jam actually trained to be a professional wrestler. Obviously, it did not work out, but I got to be in the ring with one John Moxley, who is now known as Dean Ambrose. It was a lot of fun. It's a great time. I was a complete idiot though. Didn't know anything. Didn't know what I was doing at all. He gave me a DDT one time. I had no idea how to take it. Right, it's just a simple DDT. You're like, how do you take a DDT? How can you take that wrong? But yeah, I bit a hole right through my tongue. It was absolutely horrible. And also I was very embarrassed. Also Rosie was there, which is Roman Reigns' brother. He wasn't training. He was just there to say hi to some of the guys or something like that. But he did see me and some other trainees in action, and I remember him just telling us that we were absolute garbage, which at least I was complete garbage. As far as who I would want to face in real life, past or present, I'm going to go with Kenny Omega, just because, and I've mentioned wrestlers facing off against kids already in this Q&A, but he has a match against a 9-year-old girl, and it's amazing. And I guess part of the draw really of that match is that it's against a 9-year-old girl. But I'm figuring if he can have an entertaining match with a 9-year-old girl, surely he can, get something out of me. So I'm gonna go with Kenny Omega. Crazy RPG Gamer asks, will you ever play more games or WWE 2K17 only? I believe I will be playing other games. I've got Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I plan on putting that on the channel. I've got Grand Theft Auto. I plan on putting that on the channel. I've got some sports games, which I probably will also put on the channel, but they will be few and far between, I believe. 90% of my content will most likely be WWE or wrestling games. Okay, the next question is from QnA Mueller, and he asks, who is your all-time favorite late night talk show host and why? My favorite all-time, I'm not sure that I can sufficiently answer the why to this, but my all-time favorite is David Letterman. It's etched in my memory, him and it's Simmons. What is that guy's name? Simmons. Ron Simmons. No, that's a wrestler. Richard Simmons, that's who it was. The segments between Richard Simmons and David Letterman were absolutely hilarious. The segments with Letterman and his mother, very good. I remember when Drew Barrymore flashed David Letterman. That was that was awesome. But the thing that I most loved about the David Letterman show was when Andy Kaufman and Jerry the King Lawler were on there, and they worked that crowd into a frenzy. That David Letterman crowd was eating right out of the palms of their hands. It is an hilarious segment. It might be the best thing. I think it's the best thing that wrestling has ever produced, is that segment on the Letterman show. It's fantastic. You should get on YouTube and watch it. You really should. If you're a wrestling fan, I guess. QnA Mueller also asked, who is your favorite YouTuber? Yeah, so I didn't watch a whole lot of YouTube before I became a YouTuber myself. And when I was watching YouTube, it was for wrestling related things. I watched a lot of Gore and Perkins. They play WWE 2K games and also play Universe mode, and they're pretty funny. So yeah, they're my favorites. Next, we have the final question. Yeah, we're down to the final question. I might get this in under 20 minutes. That's great for me. That's great news. Beezy's Gaming, Kung E, Muller, and Rob the Yankee all asked a similar question about who my all-time favorite wrestler was and who my top 5 wrestlers were of all time. So I'm going to go ahead and go through that list of top 5 wrestlers. Number 5 is Ric Flair. I mean, come on, who can forget those late 80s promos where he's like pointing at a kid in the crowd and he's like, I want to take your mama home and I'm going to make a woman out of her. That's amazing. His emotional match with Shawn Michaels, I believe at WrestleMania 24, where Shawn Michaels stares him in the face and he says, I'm sorry, I love you, and then super kicks his head into oblivion. That, who didn't cry when they watched that? Just, yeah, Ric Flair is great. Number 4 is Scott Hall, Razor Ramon. If you haven't seen the restaurant vignettes that he did before he debuted as Razor Ramon in WWE, you should look those up on YouTube. They are pretty funny. Number 3 is Bret Hart. Just a great wrestler. You know, I was in my like peak loving wrestling phase when Bret Hart was the top guy, and I actually, you know, I remember I went to a wrestling event and I actually got a high five Bret Hart, and it was super cool for me. Number 2 is Kurt Angle. He's another guy that I have met. I met him at an autograph signing. I got his autograph. That was really cool. But me and my girlfriend at the time, my girlfriend and I, we kind of like stayed after we had got the signature, and we just kept taking pictures of Kurt Angle. And so like him and his wife were just like staring at us, and then security came over and said, hey, you guys got to stop taking all these pictures. You got to go. So I guess we were creeping on Kurt Angle. I didn't think it was that big a deal that we were just taking pictures of him, but all right, whatever. And my number 1 favorite wrestler of all time, it's no big surprise, really. I kind of feel like a jerk for picking this guy, but it's Shawn Michaels. It's HBK. And the work of his that I really super appreciate is from like the summer of 1997 to WrestleMania 14. All right, so yeah, he's got a great full body of work, but those, like that half year of time is amazing. I just, you know, obviously bringing the crotch chop to wrestling, that's just what a great thing for someone to do. I don't know if you've ever watched the DX State of the Union address. That is hilarious. You should watch that on YouTube. I remember them playing strip poker in the middle of the ring. Shawn Michaels sticking the Canadian flag up his nose, just pointing out China's augmentations on television. You know, it's just stuff that wasn't really done at the time, and they really pushed the envelope, and they made wrestling a lot of fun. So I'm pretty sure that is it, guys. I'm pretty sure that was it. I am sorry I have rambled on for nearly 19 minutes. It's going to be about 20 minutes. So thanks so much for asking the questions. I hope that I didn't bore you to tears. So yeah, hopefully you'll continue to check out the channel, and we can support each other in this YouTube community, brother. So until next time, try to not break your neck. I'm trying that tagline so hard right now. It's not gonna last.